What's up, it's your boy Super Mario 1990 coming at you with an Emancipation review. This is spoiler free. Emancipation is the movie starring Will Smith, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is Will Smith's big return. I think this is like his debut since the Chris Rock pop back, in the Academy Awards. So he's back and it's starting with a dramatic film, which for Will Smith can go either way. It's funny. It's kind of like it's extreme. It's like it's either really really good, like Pursuit of Happiness or King Richard, or it's terrible, like Concussion. And so I was kind of like, what are we gonna get here? And it's a slave movie, and it's rated R actually. Now, the funny thing is, I've heard of the movie months back, but I never looked at the trailer because I've seen slave films and I appreciate, roots and slave films, things like that. It's not exactly like a go-to for me. So I'm kind of like, I don't think I want to see a trailer about what my ancestors have been through. I'll watch the movie because it's Will Smith and it's on Apple TV and I can watch it day one at the crib. Cool, I'm there for it. I don't think I want to see a trailer. That's a little too heavy for me. I just want to chill. I don't want to be reminded of that. And it's already coming out in December. Like, when they do the slave stuff, it's always like they always do it around the holidays, or if they re-air Roots, and it's always like around Christmas, and it's like, yo, Christmas is like, it's for family and friends. You're supposed to be happy, jolly, giving, just being in the spirit. It's the Lord's holiday. I don't want to be reminded of no slave. I don't. This ain't the right time for that. So I was kind of like, I don't really want to see the trailer. I'll just like watch the movie when it comes out. And so I get into the movie, and it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. And right there, I'm already stressed out. Like, ooh, 2 hours, 15 minutes. Y'all digging into my day a little too heavy. But it's actually well paced. Now, getting into the movie, it starts out as Will Smith. His name is Peter. It's a name given to him. He doesn't actually know his real name. Like most slaves, didn't really know their true identities. They were stripped away, And so he's supposed to be Haitian, actually. So he's Haitian. That's where his parents came from. That's where he was born. That's where they were taken from. And Will Smith actually does a good Haitian accent. Now, I was skeptical because it was like, okay, when he did Concussion, he was supposed to be African. He played the doctor, Benedict Malu, who discovered CTE and the link that it had in sports like football and soccer. And he sounded more Irish than African. And I'm like, bro, what is you? It's African. Like, you're not supposed to talk like you talking in this movie. Like, why are you doing that? But this one, he's Haitian, and he actually does a really good accent. It's a really good acting performance for him and all the other actors in the movie. And so basically his character, he's on this plantation with a family. He has a wife. I think he had 3 daughters. So he has a whole family over there. They're together in the plantation. But I think what was happening, I wasn't exactly too clear, but it seemed like him and other slaves were rounded up and sent to work off of the plantation. So he's being separated from his family. But I think they were like, off to some other place to build something. I think that was like his main thing. He was a blacksmith for his master, but he's being uprooted from his family. Now I believe he was probably just loaned out to work and do some labor away from the plantation, and he was supposed to come back and however long it took for them to get the building done. I think that was supposed to be the arrangement because I remember his master saying, "That's my top blacksmith. Be careful with that's my property. Be careful with him." So it seemed like he was supposed to get him back. And Will Smith's character in this one, Peter, he's a fighter. Kind of disobedient, and so he'll fight back with the whites. And so the master was kind of looking like, yo, like I know he about to battle with y'all and he be getting bucked, but chill out. That's my top blacksmith. I want him back over here in one piece. So I know he got a little temper, but deal with that. And I feel like Will Smith's character kind of, Peter, I feel like he kind of like knew that, and he kind of pushed the line a little bit here and there. And it was kind of exciting to see because it felt like even in a weird way as a slave, he had like a little tiny little ounce of power in certain moments. Because when he got over there to the new site, they was brutal over there. This movie is brutal, by the way. Very gruesome. And like I said, I didn't watch the trailer. I probably should have because I wasn't prepared for how gruesome and vicious and brutal this movie was going to be. Like, it's not one of those, whitewashed, watered down kind of slave films that have been happening recently, where it's kind of like PG-13. They want a big audience, and so when you got PG-13, a lot of things have to be edited out. You can't, violence got to be toned down a little bit, and it's kind of like, okay, it's getting to the point where it's not authentic to what our ancestors really been through. It doesn't really give you the full picture of how bad and how devastating, how horrific it was back then. This movie, they go all the way there. There's no sugarcoating, ain't nothing sweet in this movie. It's all salt and vinegar. They bring it straight up to you, no chaser. They going all the way there. It's almost as gruesome as Schindler's List, this movie, I feel like at times. And so it's deep, it's heavy, it's intense. And like I said, I probably should have watched the trailer, because maybe that would have prepared me for it. Because I'm thinking it was going to be kind of like one of them watered down slave movies they've been doing recently, like on Nat Turner and everything. But no, they really went there. And so I was seeing, like, you seeing people getting branded, getting initials burned into their jaw. You was seeing, like, amputations and just missing limbs. And they even blew a slave's brains out in the middle of the day during labor. So it was like, okay, they ain't playing out here. And so, Will's character, he's kind of, reckless eyeballing the whites, talking back, this and that, which of course they not used to. You ain't supposed to be doing that as a slave. You ain't supposed to be getting up people's faces, looking at them, talking back, or refusing to do things. And so he kind of felt like he had a little bit of reign to kind of be a little disobedient, because his master was like, yo, that's my top man, don't mess with him. And so he had like guns pointed at his face at a couple of moments, and other people are looking, remember what his master said, like, he ain't the one. I know you mad, but just back up off him a little bit. Just give him a little bit of slack. And so it looked like he felt like he had like a little bit of power. He would kind of push the line a little bit, but it made him too look like a leader amongst the rest of the slaves. Some of them anyway. Like with, all slave movies, there's got to be a little bit of coonery, a little bit of Samboism. So if some of them's looking like, yeah, man, I wouldn't do all that, man. If I was you, I wouldn't be playing with them white people like that, man. You crazy. And then others is looking like, I'll follow you, man. And so what ends up happening is Emancipation is it's in the article. So I don't know if it's either announced or signed, but, whatever it was, the whites weren't going to let their slaves be free. They weren't, they're not used to that. So it didn't happen right away and caused civil war. So, they're reading amongst themselves, the whites, that, slaves are supposed to be free. That's how it's supposed to be, apparently. They're over there in Baton Rouge, causing a ruckus and building up an army. And so Will Smith and another slave, they overhear this, like, oh, we supposed to be free. And so there's like a plan kind of hatched to just try to get away and escape and go down to Baton Rouge and seek asylum under the army, get their freedom. And then of course Will wants to go back and reunite with his family, because it's like, okay, well, Abraham Lincoln said we're supposed to be free, so I can go back to my family and we can live a free life finally. And so of course things aren't all that simple. They end up escaping, and after the first hour, the movie turns into kind of like a survival kind of movie. It's it's like him out there in a swamp, dodging slave catchers and attack dogs and everything like that. And so the movie like gets better and better. There are a couple of like pacing issues, just a couple minor ones where the movie seems a little dull here or there. But other than that, 2 hours 15 minutes, it wasn't bad. It could have been cut down 10-15 minutes shorter, but it's just a couple of little dull moments. They could have just slimmed down a bit to keep the movie at a more exciting pace. But it progresses and gets better and better. And like I said, this movie is based on a true story. I don't want to get too much into the story. I think I'll just end at what I told y'all about and just let you watch the rest. But it's very interesting, and I know I haven't learned about Peter in school, so it's always really good to hear these stories of the lesser known stories of people who have been big figures during big moments in history, but they get really overlooked, or it's not deemed as as significant. So it's good that he's getting his flowers for what he's been through, and it's a really good movie actually. I don't want to use the word enjoy because it's a true story and it's at a horrible time. But they did a really good job of painting an authentic picture. And speaking of that, cinematography was really good. The movie is weird. It's like It's almost black and white, but not quite. There is faint color here and there. It's kind of like tinted color, kind of. So it's like it's black and white, but you can see like lush greens in the swamps. You can see like if someone was bleeding, if there was blood being shown, you can see like a dark maroon. And you can see fire burning whenever there was fire. And certain scenes, color popped a little more. I feel like, I guess like certain environments made the colors pop a little bit more. But it's like, I don't know what kind of filter it was. I don't know what kind of grain they were using, but it was really interesting. It was really fitting for, of course, the time period, and of course just the somber and intense and just heavy mood of the film. It just really made everything all come together, tell a good story. Like I said, I'm not really big on slave films, but this one was actually pretty good. Well acted. Pacing was pretty good. Just a couple little moments that could have been slimmed down, but otherwise it's easy to follow along. It doesn't feel like it stays in a particular place too long, and it doesn't feel like it moves too fast either. So everything just moves perfectly well, and yeah, it was pretty good. I give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It's on Apple TV right now. I think it just came out yesterday, so you can watch it. Like I said, I would recommend it. I just would be prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, because like I said, it's a heavy movie. It's they giving it to you, the content. This ain't no okie doke slave movie. They for real with it, and yeah, it's hardcore. But yeah, this your boy Super Mario 1990, and I'm out. Peace in.